What's going on, everybody? I just want to take a few moments right now to apologize to all of you. I was making some content earlier, and it dawned on me. I was like, man, I've been a little rude to my social media family because I have not formally introduced myself. I just transitioned from owning a mobile detailing business to now doing music, and I'm like, the people that love my music and, really support the movement, they don't really know anything about me. And so I just want to apologize for not formally introducing myself. So with that out the way, I hope you can forgive me. Let's move forward to the content. My name is Torrance Green. I am 23 years old. I am from South Haven, Mississippi. I have 4 sisters. I am the only boy. I have 4 sisters, and I moved out to Houston, Texas in 2017. As soon as I graduated high school, I shot right out here to go to school at Universal Technical Institute for collision repair, and I've just been here ever since. Now, the reason I was going to school at Universal Technical Institute, like I know some of y'all may be wondering, why did you move from Mississippi to Houston? Why did you do that? And where did your background in cars come from? Well, my background in cars started, I don't even know what age, but I just remember when I was like at least 4 or 5, I remember taking the training wheels off of my sister's bicycle so she could ride on 2 wheels. That's my earliest memory of, being involved with tools and, knowing that I was somewhat mechanically inclined. And so from there, it just kind of progressed. I used to spray paint my bikes. I used to clean my bikes. I used to detail cars. I used to do just a whole lot of things. And then when I was maybe 9 or 10 or something like that, somewhere in that area, my father opened up his first auto mechanic business, his first automotive shop. And I started there putting air in tires. Then it progressed from putting air in tires to being able to run the impact gun and snug the tires on. It went from that to, learning how to change tires. Went from learning how to change tires to learning how to do brakes. And from there, it just went from level to level to level. So before I graduated high school, that speech that your parents give you, you got to work, you got to go to school, or you got to go to the military. You got to do one of them. You got to do something. Legally, you got to do something that's legal, all right? And I know that my mom wanted me to stay home and, go to a community college so I could be home, just no parent wants their child. And let me not speak on that. I can't speak for every parent, but I know my mom, she loved me, and she didn't want me to, go too far away. But I was like, Mama, I ain't staying in this town no more, man. I can't stay here anymore. My time at the tip of the sip is up, and unfortunately, I got to throw the deuces up, and I got to go. So me knowing that I was not gonna be staying at home, I had to come up with something. I was considering the military for a long time, for years, actually. Then I was like, man, I ain't really trying to die yet, man. I don't really want to do all that. And the main reason I was doing that was for the benefits. So my heart really wasn't pure in that area at the time. It wasn't on serving people. It was just, oh, you do 20 years, you got, man, you basically a made man. You know what I'm saying? You basically made. And so I was like, no, I ain't really trying to go that route. College, I knew that wasn't for me. When I was in school, I barely passed. Like, I was the kind of student where I would just do enough to pass, right? I would do just the bare minimum to pass because I hated school. I just thought it was a waste of time. I didn't want to be there, and it just was not for me personally. And so trade school was the only option from there. So why did I choose UTI? Why did I choose to come to Houston? Well, I kind of look at it as I didn't really choose to come here. It kind of chose me in a sense. And what I mean by that is I only researched like 2 trade schools that had collision repair. And I think one of them was, I don't know, Lincoln Tech. I think that might be a welding school, but it was 2 of them. I didn't know where they was located, okay? So it was Lincoln Tech or whatever other school I looked up, and UTI. UTI was the second one. And I was like, man, that campus is nice. I want to go to a nice campus. And the tuitions were about the same, so I'm like, hey, I might as well pick the nicer campus. I thought it was in Nashville. Tennessee. That's 3 hours from where I'm from. I'm like, cool, I can, travel down that slate, up and down that slate, 3 hours. If I want to come home on a weekend, it's just a 3-hour ride. Cool, Nashville, I'm cool. I don't know why I thought it was in Nashville, because it obviously wasn't. They don't even have a headquarters. They ain't got no kind of facility out there in Nashville. I don't know what I was thinking. But it wasn't until we had the interview for the school to see if you would kind of, I guess, be a good fit, quote unquote, for the school and for the program. And they were like, well, this is in Houston, Texas. And I'm like, what, Houston? I thought y'all was in Nashville. She's like, nah, we in Houston. And they was like, you still want to go? I said, well, shoot, yeah, I'm gone. So now fast forward, I get to Houston, Texas, right? And I get a job at a Nissan dealership as a porter. And not even a week later, Hurricane Harvey hit. And I mean, it just came through and tore Houston up. And I'm not scared. I'm like 18 at the time. I'm like, this is cool for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm out the house. I'm experiencing a hurricane. We don't get hurricanes in my part of Mississippi. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, bro, this kind of dope, man. So while I'm working at the Nissan dealership, I would work from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Then I would go to school from 2 to 8:15 at night. So I had a 12 or 13 hour work schedule, you know what I'm saying? So it was pretty hectic on me Monday through Friday, you know what I'm saying? 18 years old, went from being in school 3 hours to working 13 hours a day. Now that part wasn't really that hard for me to grasp because like I said, I used to work at my dad's shop and I used to run his shop. I used to have my own detailing department there, and I was 10 years old and people would ask like, where's Torrance Jr.? I don't want the daddy, I want to deal with Torrance Jr. You know, I used to be up in there answering phones, collecting money at 10, 11 years old, you know what I'm saying, running his whole business. You know what I'm saying? So working hard work is not something that is or has been new to me, you know what I'm saying? I've always been a hard worker, I've always been a go-getter. Back to the story. Now that I'm working at the Nissan dealership after Hurricane Harvey hit, you know what I'm saying, I'm doing what I need to do, I'm doing what I know I need to do, I'm doing it how it need to be done, you know what I'm saying, and I ain't worried about nothing else. I'm focused on what I came here for, and you know what I'm saying, that's that on that. Now fast forward to Christmas of that year, I think it was 2017, and I was thinking like, man, I'm a good worker, I need a raise. So I was gonna come to my boss at the dealership and I was gonna talk to him about a raise. And lo and behold, he came to me first with an even better position and better raise than I even thought of. You know what I'm saying? He was like, how would you like to work here full time, quit school, we'll pay you this amount of money, and we'll teach you everything that they were teaching you in school and more. You just won't have that student loan debt. I said, well, shoot, yeah. Talking about this. Shoot, yeah. You know what I'm saying? I said deuces. I said deuces to the school. UTI where? Like, I'm done. Y'all can have your clothes. You can have, I'm here full time now. So I work at the dealership full time for about maybe 2 years. And during that time, I was like, okay, now I know I don't want to do this full time. I know I don't want to do this forever. And if you know anything about the car industry, as well as I'm sure a lot of other industries, but the car industry is just, it's got a lot of selfish people. It's a lot of men that make up the car industry, and it's just a lot of selfish men that work in the car industry. So long story short, them teaching me a lot of things just really didn't work out too well. There was a lot of power tripping. You know, I had my own department there as well. I became the QC person. So after the wrecked cars got fixed, I was the one to inspect them, to make sure that they were road ready, to make sure that they were safe, to make sure that, you know what I'm saying, the headlights were adjusted correctly, to make sure the paint matched. Just a whole lot of different things that I was responsible for as the quality control manager for the dealership. And you know, during that time, I was like, man, like, this is not what I thought it would be, you know, and I'm not gonna get too much into that, but it just wasn't what I thought it would be. So I'm like, okay, I gotta figure out something. I was like, okay, I gotta get a business, and I got to work this job and work that business until the business take off, then I can quit this job. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what I did. I created a list of business endeavors that I would have liked to, you know, pursue. It was like 4 categories. I think one of them was being a music producer, detailing cars. I forget what the other 2 were, but yeah, detailing cars and becoming a music producer, because I just love music, and I was like, man, you know, I'm really good at it. I have a gift for it. And so I started producing music first. All right, I started producing music first, but then I was like, man, it's gonna take a long time for me to be able to make this profitable. So at the time, it was a lot of work. This is like 2018, 2019. But I was still committed, you know what I'm saying, to making beats. And I got hundreds of beats on GarageBand. You know, that's why I used to make them on my phone late at night, you know what I'm saying? Just in the room cooking up beats. And so during that time, while I was still working at the dealership and, you know, making music in my spare time, my car broke down. Now, I had a pearl white 03 Nissan Maxima, and I just love Maximas even to this day. I am a VQ fan. I love Infiniti. I love Nissan. JDM, that's where I am. You know what I'm saying? All that other stuff, I don't really care too much for. Y'all can have the Dodges, y'all can have everything else. I'm a JDM fan myself. So I called my dad, and I'm like, Dad, man, look, whoop the whoop the whoop, this what's going on. And he's like, man, son, I got a Maxima out here, same thing as yours. The only thing is it's green. You know what I'm saying? We just did a lot of work to it. You come out here, just fly one way, it's yours. You can drive it back 9 hours to Houston. You'll be good to go. I'm like, cool. So that happened on a weekend, like on a Saturday. So I got a plane ticket for that Sunday. I told my boss, hey, look, I'm gonna be out. I'll be back on Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? And so I flew out there to look at the car. And long story short, the car was a piece of junk, y'all. Okay, now I just spent all my last money buying a plane ticket there. Now I had to spend the rest of the last money on a plane ticket back. So I'm heated. You know what I'm saying? I'm heated like a seat. I'm like, bro, how you gonna call me out and tell me you got something good for me that ain't good? You didn't even have to do that. And so I'm thinking of a plan. I'm like, okay, I already got the detailing thing done. Like, I got the plan of how I could execute that. Now I just need to act on it. So while I was there, I was coming up with a name. I came up with a name, I flew back. As soon as my boots hit the ground, you know what I'm saying, I had Magnified Detailing up and running. Now, to get it up and running, I had to sell all of my musical equipment. I had a Mac. I had just at least about $1,000 or $1,500 worth of musical equipment. And I sold it all for $400 just to get the bare necessities of the detailing supplies. And so by this time, I had already had a new car. God worked that out so well. I'm not gonna get into that right now, but God worked it out to where I was able to get a new car. I had bought an 04 Infiniti G35 Coupe. And so that's what I started detailing out of. I started detailing out of the trunk of that. And from there, it kind of just grew and grew until like the passion kind of ran out for it one day. I felt like God was leading me away from that. You know, even though I also feel like he was calling me to it at the time, you know, but to everything, there's a time and a place. And I felt like the time for me detailing was up. And so as I began to transition, I'm like, okay, well, where do I need to go from here, God? Because this was new to me. I had already stopped selling shoes because I knew that, you know, I didn't have as much time for doing that anymore. And that was like an extra $1,500 every month that I wasn't getting anymore from doing that. Now detailing, it was scary. And the main reason it was scary is because I didn't really see producing music as significant at the time. I didn't really see that at the time. I didn't see how significant it was, even though I had already made hundreds of beats that have really helped me heal and sort through a lot of trauma that I was facing, and that I had faced in my life. I still didn't see it as significant. And so I'm like, bro, no, I got to do something that's gonna make me some money. You know what I'm saying? And then it dawned on me. The reason that I'm not detailing anymore is because my why was not pure. I had a why, but it was not birthed from a place, from a healthy place, from a healthy standpoint. You see what I'm saying? Yes, I'm very gifted in detailing, and any of my clients could tell you, I had that work. You know what I'm saying? I came, I got the job done. I was always on time. I was very punctual. I over communicated. I did very well, and the business was growing before I left it. There was no problems. You know what I'm saying? I had the correct business model. I had everything that I needed to have set up, but I still felt like, no, man, like I got to be doing something else. It's basically like a full circle moment, because I stopped producing music to detail cars, and I stopped detailing cars to produce music. It's amazing. But the main difference between when I was producing music then versus now is passion. I had passion then, but I was trying to make it work as a business model. You know, I was trying to make it, and when I wasn't making money, I was discouraged and I didn't make beats. You know what I'm saying? Now, hey, the money gonna come with it, but I just want people to hear my sound, because I know I got a cold sound, man. If don't nobody else believe that, I know I got a dope sound. And so I've arrived at the place where I love my sound, and my sound is continuing to evolve. And if I love my sound, and if it makes me feel the way it does on the inside every time I create my sound, I gotta put it out for other people to enjoy as well. So if you're trying to do something, whether it be entrepreneurship, opening a business, whatever the case may be, whatever it is that you're trying to do and wanting to do, of course have a why. But if your why is not coming from a pure standpoint, your why will not be enough to sustain you when it gets hard. And that's really what I realized as I was detailing cars. My why for detailing was birthed out of anger. It was birthed out of, I'm gonna show my dad that I don't really need him. I'm gonna show my dad that I can get it. I'm gonna show every man that I could get it. Ultimately, it just was not enough to sustain me. And so I'm back making music once again, and I'm here to stay. And so that's enough about me, y'all. You'll know more, you'll learn more as we continue to evolve in this relationship that we have here. But I'm just so grateful that I'm able to share my sound with you. I'm so grateful that I'm able to share the revelations that God gives me, and the things that I learn as I continue to heal, and as I continue to live, and as I continue to journey this adult life. I'm so grateful that I'm able to share that with you all. And I'm so grateful that you all are receptive of it. So until next time, thank you for listening to my TED Talk.